Welcome everyone. Today we'll have a weekly update video for Lost Ark, and as you can see behind me, the update is underway and this is a major patch. So over here I do have some summaries. If you guys haven't read up on the patch, it is actually very detailed, a lot of content. It's like huge of updates and also changes to different classes and also different general changes. Now what I want to do is, I don't want to go through the whole update. I'm sure you guys might have read some of them. So here we have a small summary. We'll go through the summary of the update quickly and talk about how would those affect the market and how can we make additional gold from the Legion rate, from the new classes, and also the demand for 1475. After that, we'll look into some of the changes to the market and how will this affect the market. What item will be likely going to go up in price and how should you save your gold or make more gold. Finally, we'll also have additional tips for Valtan. There will be additional items and things you might be missing out, so I want to give you guys some tips for Valtan, including making additional gold with different engraving books for the new class. So if you have a look over here, I have prepared a list of engraving books. Let me show you guys over here. So notice there's a list of engraving books. Those engraving books, some of those will go up in price because we have a new class for the Destroyer, and similar to the Glaivier, some of the engraving books for the Glaivier, especially the class ones, will likely have a higher demand. Now coming over to the major update news. So this one is pretty big and there's a lot of class changes. I had a look at some of my class changes for Berserker. Seems to be my Berserker's Mayhem build is a little nerfed, and the Destruction one, the Berserker's technique is actually buffed, so we'll talk about that very soon. So the good thing about this patch is it only have 4 hours of update time. Usually I thought this would be like 8 hours. And one thing you want to be aware is there is likely going to be a queue after the update. So if you guys are planning to play the game and if it's on peak time during the server, expecting maybe half-hour wait or even an hour wait to play the game. So maybe log in a little earlier if you can, because there is likely going to be a queue time after the update. And just be aware of this. So coming over to the summaries of the notes, we know there will be a Legion rate, and the normal one will be 1415, the harder one will be 1445, and I guess 1445 is where most of the players will be aiming for this. And in order to get there, I think most players in the server will be considering homing the items, and this is why I do think the radar materials will still go up in price. They haven't been going up in price too much lately, simply because before the patch there is no need to home for those items. Notice I'm still sitting on a lot of those items ready to sell them. Now after that, we know there will be a new Destroyer class. Knowing that Destroyer class will come into the play, some of us may be saving the Battle Pass or the Power Pass, and some of us may be saving the event. But what is one thing some players might not be aware of is we can be selling engraving books that is associated to this class. So I have noticed some of my viewers did this for the Glaivier class. So what you want to look over here is some of those engraving books, especially the blue one, actually sells for quite a lot. So let me show you guys what I mean by over here. So let's go over to the engraving books. Let's go sort by prices, and let's go for the green ones. So if you look at the green ones, they don't sell for that much. They sell for about 11 gold, right? So if you have a look at the blue ones, some of the blue ones actually sell for a lot. So notice some of the blue ones will sell for over 50 or 60 gold a book. And the demand for those will be high because players will be buying 20 books each. Now the new patch will also introduce new field boss, new Chaos Gate, and also Guardian, and also Chaos Dungeons. So for the Chaos Gate and also field boss, you just have to be, I think, 1415 or even lower that for the field boss. That's okay. And for the Chaos Gate, it is 1415. Now for the Guardian and also Chaos Dungeons, there will be 3 new difficulties, up to 1475. What I'll do is, I'm still working on my way to get there slowly, but I'll be making a homing guide for 1475 very soon. I'll give you guys some tips whether you go for weapon plus 19 or 18, and whether you go for other gears to plus 19 or 20 for that particular course, because we do want to get all the rewards from the latest content, right? After that, there will be new guild activities, there will be a new Chicken Island, which we can get some, I guess, weekly item exchange shops. There will be new skins, new costumes. There is some quality improvement for the auction house and also marketplace. I will be testing those because I'm very interested on those features of the game, and those are in the massive quality of life over here that is displayed. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to give you guys a summary. So there's a lot of things to be looking for. The quality of life seems quite interesting. And finally, this something we might not be aware of, and I actually saw this as I was reading. So one thing is there will be a gold limit for the 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 Abyss dungeons. So remember the Abyss dungeons, they used to doesn't have a limit for the Hoyans well, and now there will be a limit. Now if we come over to the Abyss dungeons, so what I mean by earlier by the Abyss dungeon is, let me see if I can find the particular line. Yeah, so basically if we come over here, there will be an item limit for the 1415 to get gold rewards from the Hoyans well Abyss. So if we come over here to the Abyss, notice that currently if the previous Abyss I cannot get gold, right? Because there is basically an item cap limit for the particular limit. And over here you can see there is currently no limit for the gold to be looted. But after the update, there likely will be a gold limit update after you get your items to 1415 and beyond. So if you want to sit on 1415, that could be a good idea. Before you home your items, make sure you do this on 1415, and then home your items beyond that. There will also be new class changes. One of the bigger effect of this particular massive update is the class change. Now, how will this class change affect us? One thing I notice is, because I'm not sure with most of the class, one thing I notice is if you come over here for my market listing, I start to sell items that is actually for the other class. Notice here I'm selling on Berserker's Technique +3 and also a Grudge +3. It also has critical rate and swiftness. So this necklace usually sells for about 100 to 1000 gold before the change, but with a buff of my other build for my class Berserker, maybe items like those can be selling for higher. So something like this you should be aware of, especially for your class, because you'll be getting different items and different engravings and also different skills for the class that may be buffed in this particular patch. Now coming over to a second part of the video, this is the part we're looking into the market and how to make more gold. There will be a special feature this week, and let's go through over to those first. So here are some of my additional tips for the Valtan patch. Now the first thing is, this is not in the Valtan patch, but I'm sure most of you will be aiming for 1415. Once you have one account to 1415, make sure you go to the Anguish Island exchange, because this island will have 2 tradable golden book boxes. So what I mean by that is, I actually didn't record that, so I can't find the replay for that. So what I mean by that is, let me show you guys over here. You can be getting 2 untradable boxes. In those boxes, if you open them, they will give you class engravings. So basically, the class engravings you get from those boxes, you can choose any of the class. You can also choose for the Destroyer, remember? So if you pick the Destroy class, you can be selling those maybe over 4000 gold. Because if you look over here, I sold 2 of my Berserkers ones for about 3500 gold. It is now close to 4000 gold. So what I mean by that place is, now if I just show you guys over here, I should probably run over there to make a better video, right? So this is the island. The Anguish Island is over here, Anguish Israel. Now with Anguish Island, every day you can get the Keys of Despair. If you do the dungeon over there, and by doing the chain quest, you have an NPC with exchangeable items. The best item you can exchange after 1415 will be the 2 of the engraving boxes. Make sure you sell those, and you can make some good profit after getting to 1415 this way. Now with the release of South Van, we should be looking into the Chaos Gate and also Field Boss for this region, and those are pretty much behind 1415. I believe we can do the Field Boss even if we're under leveled. As long as there's enough players, we can do that. Now we have talked about keeping some of the green, blue, purple and green boxes for the demand of the Destroyer. And you can see over here, I have some of those boxes listed over here. I also have a bunch in my inventory. So once the Destroyer comes in, and depending on what people want for Destroyer, I'll be selecting those and selling them. Now I know over here you can see some of those are not tradable, but some of the boxes we have gotten previously in game, it's on my alt account, so I didn't go into the alt account. So some of the items that we have gotten previously in game, those items are tradable. So make sure you look into the box that opens up to be tradable to sell those on the market for additional gold for the Destroyer. Now, because we'll be getting new relic items, and what you want to do is, you want to sell those items early, because there will be additional supply that flood the market after, because people will get more of those, but don't undersell them. So what you want to balance is, you want to kind of gauge the price for those items, wait for maybe 1 or 2 days, but don't wait for too long, because those items are likely going to go down in price. So as an example over here, if you guys remember the ability stones, initially the legendary ability stones, those were selling for a lot, like 5,000, 4,000. Now those are going down to 1,000, 500, a few hundred. Similar things will go down with the relic items, so make sure you don't sell them too early because you might be underpricing it, but don't wait too long because a lot of people will be getting those, right? Now, I have looked into the demand for gem boxes, which we'll talk about very soon over here. So if we come over here and have a look at the gem boxes, what you can notice that some of the gem boxes and average daily price, it's going up and down, and some of those tier 2 boxes are selling for a lot of gold. So one thing to be, oh, this is actually a bargain. So notice the lowest price was 10 gold and people were selling for that, and all of a sudden the price goes to 24 gold. So what I'm trying to say is the gem price boxes and the gems are going up in price, simply because players want to get higher level gems for the new Legion raid, and likely this will go up in price. So there's no rush to sell your gems if you're not short on gold. Now, finally, for the Valtan patch, I have seen over here there is likely going to be more Twitch jobs. Make sure you guys come over here to access the Twitch jobs to watch streamers for 2 hours. I know I should be streaming, but my voice can't handle it. I still have ongoing voice problems. And for the Twitch job, make sure you get those. And there's also a Valtan challenge. I haven't really looked into those, but it seems like you have to be the first 10 teams to defeat Valtan normal or hard, which will be quite challenging. So make sure you guys look into those if you're interested. I have the links available for you. And those are the additional tips for Valtan. Now, if we come back over here to the market predictions, we know there will be a new Valtan patch, and this will change the market. We know players will be homing for those 3 different intervals, 1,415 to 1,475. We know the Great Honor Lipstones have been rising since the week, and also we know some of the prices of items is likely going to go up, then go down. So what I mean by that is, if you come over here to some of the market trend, okay, there's a lot of trend we need to look at. So basically you can see the tier 3 shard. This is recorded about a day or 2 ago. So notice that this was on the price point of 35 gold. If you come over here to have a look at the current price, it's about 39 gold. I think this will still go up in price, but it's quite surprising to me that the Solar Grace, Solar Blessing, and also Solar Protection, they're actually falling down in price. One of the reasons the price are falling before the patch is, I guess some of the players are not needing those items and they just want to push it down, and a lot of players are not buying into those unless they have the access to the Valtan patch, right? So I do think the price of item will go up in the first 1 to 2 weeks, and those will fall. And also what we're comparing is the hype and also demand for the new class and also homing materials versus the additional items we get from the content and also the free tier 3 materials from the events. Now, if the free items is higher than what we get over here, the demand, then the price will fall quickly. But if a lot of players are playing into the game, there's a high inflation, especially with so many bots in the game, and then the item will go up in price. Now, currently you can see in my inventory, I have 6 items invested, so half into the retail materials, half into the pouches. Now, what I notice is the prices of pouches are likely going to go up. If you have a look at the pouches in the past, so here we're looking at the pouches were hitting as low as 18 gold and 24 gold, and now the lowest point was 25 gold for one moment, and it goes up to 40 gold. As players progress higher into the game, most of the item price will be shifting onto the pouches. The retail materials will fall, and I don't plan to trade too much of those after 1 to 2 weeks of Valtan. So what I'll be doing is, I'll be slowly shifting from the retail materials into the pouches, and those will be a long-term investment for my gold. Some of the price points for the stones might actually go up in price, simply because players will be getting a lot of more lipstones from the weekly reset. And with more lipstones, you need more stones, right? So surprisingly enough, after the patch, what you might see is, oh, not really surprising, you might see the rise of price of the Guardian Stones and also Destruction Stones, simply because players have more lipstones. And so basically what I'm doing after the Valtan patch, I'll still be trading all the items I'm trying to trade over here, but after 1 to 2 weeks, I'll be looking into more of the shards and also pouches. I'll be making a weekly video update to see if this works, and if I do make gold, I'll give you guys the patterns of which day to trade and how to make more gold from those items. Now, before I finish the video, I just want to show you guys how nice the glow is, the weapon on me. I'm close to getting the weapon past 20, but this might take me 1 to 2 weeks. So what I want to warn you guys is, after 1445 guys, the homing is ridiculously difficult and hard, especially when you don't pay into the game, right? So very soon we'll be making an updated video on homing guide after 1445. And just let you guys know, I've spent tons of my free materials or untradable materials on those homing, and it is very hard. So don't feel bad if you have to pity if you fail over 10 or 20 times on one piece of gear. This happened to me multiple times, and make sure you're prepared for this and just don't feel too bad about this. I've seen players that one tap to plus 20. I've seen players that pity all the time. So don't feel too bad if you fail homing. And I just want to give you guys a comparison because I've failed many times with my weapon. So don't feel bad. I've failed many times as well. But we're getting there slowly because there's different method and also different ways to improve your rates and to fasten your progress. I'll be making homing guides very soon for the next chapter. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you do so, because we'll be getting a lot of guides, a lot of tips as I discover them, and I love the game. So I want to share as much as I can with you guys, and let's have a great time in Lost Ark as we explore this game and get the most out of it.